Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into how you can completely upgrade your very own cognitive operating system so you can actually thrive in the AI era. Look, we live in a world where information is everywhere. It's totally abundant, but high-quality thinking, that is the new scarce resource. So today, we're going to unpack a framework called the Psychotech Ecosystem, which makes the case that creative problem-solving is, quite literally, the ultimate human superpower. Okay, let's take a quick look at our system upgrade roadmap for today. We're going to kick things off with the AI era dilemma, then move on to the Psychotech cognitive engine, cover filters, biases, and systems, establish our human-AI collaboration protocol, and finally, wrap up with reaching your peak potential.
Now this quote right here, it perfectly exposes the ultimate truth of our modern world. AI is really just a multiplier of whatever thought processes you already have. Just imagine two people using the exact same AI tool. One of them builds a breakthrough business, while the other just gets completely overwhelmed and more confused. The difference isn't the technology, right? If your thinking is creative, AI scales innovation. If your thinking is strategic, AI scales impact. The foundation of everything is your own mind.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the AI era dilemma, and talk about upgrading from the industrial age. You know why so many of us feel stuck right now? It's because our modern education system basically trained us to be factory workers. We were taught to memorize the one correct answer, follow instructions to the letter, and above all else, avoid making mistakes. But today's AI era requirements are completely different. We aren't the assembly line anymore, we are the rocket scientists. We have to be the ones framing the actual problems, generating the right questions, exploring multiple solutions, and doing rapid experimentation. The problem isn't that we lack intelligence, it's just that we're running outdated software in a brand new world.
Moving right along to Section 2, the Psychotech cognitive engine. Let's do a quick hardware check on your neuroscience.
Here is the really cool part. Creativity isn't some mystical magic. It is literal neuroscience. Your brain relies on three distinct systems to make this happen. First, you have the prefrontal cortex, which is the executive. It handles all your planning, reasoning, and decision-making. Second, there's the default mode network, or the idea generator. And this is fascinating, because it actually activates when you're resting or daydreaming, which perfectly explains why staring blankly at a spreadsheet never works, but taking a 10-minute shower magically solves your toughest problems. Finally, the salience network acts as the switch. It decides what deserves your attention and moves you from imagination into action. When these networks link existing experiences into a new pattern, your brain gives you a hit of dopamine. So that famous aha moment, it's a literal neurochemical reward for pattern recognition. So, how do we use this hardware? By consciously running this highly trainable 9-part loop. This is how you systematically turn basic perception into insight, and insight into actual real-world results. You start by simply observing reality and interpreting what it means. But right here is the crucial pivot. You absolutely must challenge your assumptions and imagine entirely new possibilities. Only after that do you evaluate the trade-offs, decide what to commit to, and execute your next concrete action. Afterward, you review how it went and figure out how to improve. Honestly, actively tuning this engine every single day is far more important than your IQ.
All right, Section 3, filters, biases, and systems. It is time to install some firewalls.
To keep our new cognitive engine running smoothly, we need to block out the malware, specifically our own cognitive biases. It is wild how easily our judgment gets distorted when we aren't actively applying critical thinking. We fall into confirmation bias, where we only look for information that supports what we already believe. Or anchoring, where the very first thing we hear overly skews our entire judgment. There's availability bias, making recent events seem way more important than they are. And we've all been there with the sunk cost fallacy, right? Pouring money and time into a failing project just because we've already spent a year on it. Oh, and the halo effect, where one positive trait completely distorts our view of a person. These are the classic bugs in our system. But don't worry, there's a brilliant hack for this. Whenever you're facing decision paralysis or feel those biases creeping in, ask yourself this exact question. What would I advise a friend to do in this exact situation? It's incredibly simple, but it creates instant psychological distance and dramatically improves your judgment. It forces you to step outside your own emotional baggage and view the problem objectively. Seriously, try this the next time you feel stuck. It's a real game changer.
Now, creating that kind of psychological distance leads us straight into systems thinking, which is without a doubt the ultimate CEO skill. Most people just treat surface-level symptoms. A deadline gets missed, and they just react to the event at the very tip of the iceberg. But real leaders look deeper. Is there a pattern of missed deadlines? What system structure is actually causing that pattern? And at the very bottom, what are the mental models and core beliefs sustaining the whole thing? If you want a permanent fix, you have to stop treating symptoms and start fixing the structural models hidden below the waterline.
I absolutely love this next technique. It's called reverse thinking. Instead of staring at a blank page asking, how do I become more productive? Ask yourself, how do I absolutely destroy my productivity? The answers flow immediately, right? Keep all my notifications on. Multitask relentlessly. Definitely don't get any sleep. By enthusiastically figuring out how to ruin your workflow, you automatically identify the exact structural obstacles and habits you need to eliminate.
Let's head into Section 4, Human-AI Collaboration Protocol. It's time to sync up with our external devices.
Look, it is incredibly clear that you shouldn't be trying to compete with AI. That's a losing battle. AI's domain is unmatched research, summarization, pattern detection, drafting, and heavy data analysis. But the human domain? It's entirely different. We are the ones who must define the real problems. We have to understand human emotions, apply ethics, make complex trade-offs, and ultimately take responsibility. You let the AI summarize the data and generate alternatives, but you have to steer the overall vision.
This means you don't just ask AI for an answer and walk away. You want to spark a dynamic conversation. You define the problem clearly, then ask the AI to expand perspectives. And here is the magic step. Challenge it to argue against your own idea. From there, you compare the options. You, the human, make the final decision, execute rapidly, and learn by feeding those real-world results back into your next prompt. Remember, you maintain the cognitive advantage. AI is simply your brilliant yet unguided research team.
Finally, we arrive at Section 5, reaching your peak potential. Let's reboot and execute.
So P.S.Y.C.H.O.T.E.C.H isn't just a clever acronym to remember, it's practically a daily checklist. It guides you from accurately perceiving reality and studying systems to yielding old assumptions and actively challenging conventional thought. It pushes you to test bold hypotheses, execute with discipline, and harmonize everything into practical wisdom. It is your comprehensive, step-by-step framework for turning mere thought into impactful reality. I actually want to challenge you directly right now. Take just 10 minutes today to run one of your current problems through this exact 4-step protocol, because clarity comes from action, not endless overthinking. Step 1, define your problem in one single sentence. Step 2, ask why 5 times until you hit the real root cause, the base of the iceberg. Step 3, brainstorm a safe solution, a bold solution, and an unconventional solution. And Step 4, the most important one, choose one concrete action you can take in the next 24 hours. Don't just absorb this, execute it.
When you pair creative problem solving with that kind of disciplined execution, you build a bridge. We all start out with hidden potential, abilities we haven't even discovered yet. With practice, those become developed potential. But peak potential, that is your highest contribution, under purpose, discipline, and service. It's exactly what happens when you fully utilize your upgraded human operating system.
The future belongs to those who think clearly. So as you take this newly upgraded operating system out into the real world, I want to leave you with one final vital question. AI can generate 1,000 ideas in seconds, but it has no compass, no heart, and no real skin in the game. Only a human can choose the idea actually worth dedicating a life to. So, which one will you choose? Thank you so much for exploring the Psychotech ecosystem with me today. Keep upgrading your thinking, and I'll see you in the next explainer.